Hello, in the last video I showed you what happened when I didn't have the time to clear the weeds from the main allotment.
This plot is just as embarrassing. I haven't had time to really look after this stuff, and this Swiss chard has gone to seed. There's weeds everywhere, but like the other plot, this stuff, it just comes off, so it looks like a lot of weeds, but you just pull the thing up and underneath it it's fine. So once you pick it up, lift it, it's fine. It's just bindweed makes everything look untidy. This cage was full of thistles, and I've cleared some. The back is even worse because I didn't clear that last time, so they've really got tall. But I mean, the brassicas are a little bit moth-eaten, but I think they'll be alright. They're still growing. Should be alright once I cleared them out and give them a good water. The pumpkins, I mean, that's the size of my hand, and these are not meant to be big ones, so pleased with that. There's more over there, one there, one there. Don't want to pull the bindweed in case I actually do some damage to the pumpkin vine, so I'll have to go through this carefully. The crown prince is doing alright, but this one is a little bit on the small side. It's supposed to be the same size as the crown prince, but it's not. Courgettes still producing like crazy, and the potatoes are ready for a harvest, so I'm going to clear the cage and start on the spuds. Right, this is how the cage looks once it's been cleared of the thistles and bindweed. Looks a bit neater, but obviously the thistles have dropped some of their seeds, but I can sort that out. Yeah, the brassicas have done reasonably well. They've got some damage on them, but I think we might be alright with these sprouts and purple sprouting broccoli that are in here. But with the pigeons and the weeds and everything else, I'm amazed I've got anything left. And the asparagus is still going in these pots, but obviously they were a bit shaded out. Didn't get a chance to put them in this year, so I'll have to wait till the spring before I put them in. Once we've had a good rain, I'll come in and pull these other weeds out from around the asparagus. Alright, but not too bad, they can just come out. And yeah, that's not too bad. I'm not worried about the moss, so that's fine. Now it's time to get these other two potato beds dug up. Now, I made some mistakes. One is I didn't keep on top of the thistles, and a few got through, and I didn't mulch it deep enough, so there are some potatoes lying on top and chewed up by rats. Whether that's because the rats dug them up or they were on top and the rats have chewed them. But I'll accept a few losses considering everything else that's been going on this year. I can accept a few chewed up potatoes. I think next year I will put a lot more wood chips on initially, because I put some on and I was running out of time, and I said, well, I'll come back and do it later, and I never got around to it, and really it should have been deeper. But the thing to do is to get these dug up and see what we've got. But first I've got to sort out some of these weeds. I mean, bindweed and thistles don't respect wood chips. It's done a better job because there's hardly anything in the middle of there. There's one dock that's turned up, but compared to other places, this is one bed I didn't wood chip, and it just went mad. I mean, I've lost everything that was in it. And this one, it's gone to seed, but you can see there's, you know, the odd weed in it, but mostly it's alright. So the chard went to seed because I didn't water it, but it is what it is. Right, well, I won't record me digging this stuff up and pulling weeds and things because that's boring, so I'll bring you back when I've cleared the bed. Right, I pulled the weeds and the haulms out of this bed. There's a few little things left still, like that dock and this bramble, but that is not too bad considering what the unmulched areas are like. And if I'd put some cardboard down around the potatoes when I planted them, that would have really helped out more, so that's a lesson learned. I'll do that next year. But I was a little bit dubious about growing potatoes in wood chips. I'd never done it, so I wasn't sure of the results. And when I was pulling the haulms out, pulled a few up with the roots, but these are little ones. Unfortunately, something has been at the big ones. So here's a case of digging down and seeing what's there. I'm just digging here. Yeah, they're not huge, but well, I'll dig through this lot, which is going to take me an hour or so, and I'll bring you back. You can see this one. Something's had a go at it, but we'll see what we can do. Well, that's the salad potatoes harvested. So there's 2 bags, sort of 2/3 full. Unfortunately, there is a lot of bad ones where the animals have been at them. So that's not good. So we'll have to rethink what I put in, because most of it I think it's slugs and woodlice, because I see a lot of woodlice in here. And I hit an ants nest in the middle. I don't think ants would have done that, but I think it's more the work of woodlice and slugs, and rats have chewed up some of the ones that were on top. But we can accept that, considering that this year I didn't spend that much time on this allotment. Well, on either allotment really, and these weren't watered properly. I can live with that. Now there's a few that have got a little bit of green on them, or the small ones that are green, which I can use for seed potatoes next year. So they're in here as well. But I'll go through these when I get home. And I've still got the cooking potatoes to go. We'll see what we get with those. Bear in mind, when I was putting the seed potatoes in, the rats nicked some of the best seed potatoes, so I can live with that. It's not ideal, but it's something. I was just about to walk into the allotment gates and saw this parcel outside. Please rescue and replant purple sprouting broccoli, duplicate by mistake. So I looked at that, and we've got some plants there. These look a bit yellow, but these could replace the ones I lost to the pigeons, so I'll put them in and see what happens. Well, these 2 pumpkins are ready. It's obvious because you can see this has all gone brown and died back, whereas this one is still green and the stems are green. So we'll harvest these 2. So we always go way back and way back there. And so that one. Should have cut the other pruners, they just come straight off. So, 2 nice little pumpkins. Right, 2 pumpkins and a courgette, so that's not bad. And just for size, that's my hand, so that's a fair size one. That's a big fat courgette, that's a reasonable size one. Yeah, so I'm pleased with that.
Didn't get to plant these yesterday, so I'm planting them today.
Right. Broccoli claret F1, 10 plants. Well, I'm going to put 10 plants. Well, I managed to give 5 away, so I've still got another 5 to plant. But that's a bit yellow on some of them. But we'll plug these in and see what happens. Right, they're planted in. Just sort of found gaps where I could and put them in. So this will make up for the brassicas that the pigeons ate when I stupidly left the cage door unlocked. The wind blew it open and the pigeons ate some of these brassicas, and I didn't have any spares. Well, they ate the spares as well, so at least it's looking a little bit better. I've cleared this front area this morning, so I mean that is the compost bed, and I just keep chucking weeds and everything on top of it. It'll all rot down. Of course there's stuff coming in from this side. Just taking this comfrey down, but it was huge. That bit on that corner, it just keeps going wild because it's difficult to get to, and the nettles love it over there, so I might have to rethink. When the mushroom logs are still down there, they're still down here. If I can get this lifted. because it's got binary going through it, but so they're still there but not showing any sign of doing anything, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this stuff needs to be cleared. I cleared the physalis bed. I don't think I'm going to get much out of it this year because we had that early frost which set it back. Although it's got some, it's still flowering, it's got some, there's nothing. These lanterns are just, even the bigger ones, there's nothing in them. Something the size of a pea, but there should be the size of a cherry tomato, but even like this big one, you squeeze it gently and it's obviously still developing, but should have had something in them already, but nothing so far. So the other job I've got to do is, that's all, that half is cleared, and I just put a load of weeds on top of it to stop other things coming through. This half needs clearing, and then that bed needs clearing. So it's going to be a bit of work pulling weeds, but the ground has been that dry, all these weeds were concreted in, so hopefully now that we've had a couple of days of rain they should be a lot easier to pull out. The purple sprouting broccoli I put in the other day is still here, but I'm not counting my chickens because no doubt something will come and eat it. And the courgettes are still producing. Let's take the flower off that one because you can see this one's starting to go rotten. The bottom's out. Oh. Pull it, twist this one off. I'll get a knife because you can see it's starting to go rotten, so I've got to take that off. It's only a tiddler. I could cut that end off and eat the rest, but I've got so many courgettes and I can't really give that away to anybody, so this is going in the compost. I mean, I've got more coming. I've got 2 more on that plant. This one is still going bonkers. And then I've got the others. Other people have meat-free days. I think I'll have a courgette-free day. Yesterday I came in to harvest the potatoes, and then when I walked in, this was in the car park, which is all beech cuttings. So I thought I'll have some of that. So it took me all morning, wheelie bin after wheelie bin of chippings, till I've got this pile here on the plot, so I can use that to fill my slow compost bin. And I've harvested some decent potatoes. That's a good one, but unfortunately something's got into that one. But no, other ones like that look fine. Oh, actually, oh no, that one isn't either. Something's got into that. But there are some nice big ones. Look, culprit, bugger off. So, I mean, that one's perfect. Nice jacket potato size. So I've got this one, I've got that one, and then I've got that bucket full of all the ones that were either green or half chewed or a bit rotten, which obviously they won't last long. So what I'm going to do is take this lot home and sort through them. But that's rather a lot. You get the odd one when you're growing compost in plastic tubs, but when you grow in the ground you do get a lot more losses. But that is a lot. I have got a lot, and that end didn't produce very much, but I suspect it's because it was shaded by that. Because all the nice big ones, oh, just missed another one. Just found another one there. So I can pick that up in a minute. They're just where my finger is. But yeah, it's because of being shaded out by that hedge, because it was the same on the other beds. So that hedge has got to go. This bed had a garlic in it this year, and next year it's going to be brassicas, and I might put some field beans over the winter, but for now I want it covered, so I'm putting in some of the old dried weeds and things like privet cuttings, etc., just to protect it from weeds. And obviously if I don't put field beans in, that will just rot down over winter and nourish the soil anyway. So I'll do that, and I think what I might do, rather than put beans in, which mice will probably dig up anyway, I will put all the pots of herbs that I've got lying about, bring them all up and put them on this bed all in one place. So I'll just put a bit more greenery on that part. This part is covered with all the dried weeds. Bindweed, people are scared of it, but once it's dry like that, it's not going to do anything. I just had the bindweed on top of that cage and it's dried, so it is safe to put here, and it'll just rot down. and put the nourishment back in the soil.